Hey everybody, welcome to PDQ Live. This is a big episode, so we brought in the big guns. We have the also rants of me and Tara, but we're not good enough.
It's true.
So we brought in Owen, Mark, and El Presidente. We let them out of the corner for one day. And they're here to tell us everything about this product, which I friggin' love. All right, and I'll let you run with it.
All right, I'll kick off. So we're excited. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. We launched our new product February 27th, so just over a week ago. Pretty excited here. Product launches are special occasions. There are times that you really have been building something for, in our case, more than a year, and really been thinking and designing it for several years. And so to be able to put it out in the public is a little bit of a vulnerable moment, but also internally something we're super proud of. Excited of. We have a wickedly talented product team and engineering team. In a second, Owen's going to show off what we have. Now, let me start off. I'm going to walk through. We kind of call it a little bit of a quiet launch. And what that means is we know for a lot of you, this is going to be a solution that's going to give you a lot of free time or a lot of removing a lot of your headaches. But we recognize that it's not quite feature parity and not for a while feature parity with deploying inventory. And so we're calling it a quiet launch. We think we'll be louder with it as we start to get more and more feedback and continue that roadmap. So let me walk you through on the website how to get to it and how you can navigate and understand it. So first, here's our homepage. What we do is typically if you were to go through the trial or the scheduled demo, this is still primarily leading you to deploying inventory. So our flagship products there. Now, if you click on products, we kind of have it tucked away right here. PDQ Connect. So here's the information you're going to find out about PDQ Connect. You could start your trial here, and then you can go to our knowledge base. So already building that, this is going to be an area we'll continue to grow and build. Kudos to our solutions team for getting that ready, as well as the feedback that we've got from our beta users, as well as from anybody who's using it internally or externally. And then we go to our pricing. This pricing now is specific to PDQ Connect. So if you're let me walk through. If you go to the pricing here, this is for D&I, but if you tuck into Connect and go to our pricing, we've talked about pricing before on previous webcasts, $12 per device per year. We have a 30-day trial right now. We expect to cut that down to be similar to our D&I, which is a 14-day trial. But right now, we're giving you a little bit extra time to really kind of take it for a spin and enjoy Connect, and we're excited for your feedback. So I'll pause there. Here we go. We're going to go into the product then. So if you were to click on this, or we'll pass it over to Owen here in a second.
Did you add an artificial pause?
Yeah, I added artificial pause. I was hoping you guys had questions to point out to me. I was hoping someone. I remember this is not quite Q&A time yet, so I won't queue up Kelly. But this is how you're going to go into your Connect. Well, let me have Owen remind me before the webcast say one more thing. We did have how many beta users did we have for this?
We have a few hundred at this point.
So we had like several hundred beta users. So for those of you who did give us feedback, appreciate it. Continue to give us that feedback. We're still keeping your beta account open. You can continue to use it on us. You don't have to go sign up for the trial. In the next few weeks and months, we'll have an account manager reach out to you to discuss if this is a long-term solution and to give you a special beta user pricing. So we appreciate you on that. Okay. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Owen, and he's going to show us under the hood.
Awesome. So I'm going to walk through Connect. So what I'm going to cover is you'll probably remember a lot of this from the previous webcast, but I'll also talk about what's changed since then, as well as kind of like plans that we have coming up. So you should be seeing our device screen. So when you install the agent, which is as simple as clicking this button, it's just a simple MSI installer. Once it's installed on any device, it'll automatically populate in this list. So right now, we're looking at all devices in our organization, but you can see we also have our list of groups. So for our inventory users, collections are now just groups in Connect. They behave the exact same way. They're dynamic, so once you set your filters, they'll update automatically. And you can kind of see some ones that we have built already. A lot of these are like software focused, but we have some hardware ones as well. So if I were to click into, for example, let's do Chrome Old. You can kind of see here of all our devices, 11 of 12 meet this criteria. We have our name, and we also use variables, but you can also filter on software version. Here we have it as does not equal. We have less than, greater than options though. So if you want less than the current latest version, you can do that as well.
I built that one for the demo, and when I first started researching, that filter didn't exist yet, so I didn't even look at it. And then I complained about it after the demo, and you were very polite in calling me stupid, saying it's right there. So I love that that's added. It shows that there is still stuff going out there, and it's improving constantly.
Yeah, I mean, our engineering team, they're super fast moving. And so we've released a lot of recent changes. And over these next few weeks and months, there's probably things that users are looking for that maybe is not there right now. We're still releasing a lot, and we're releasing it very quickly. So a lot of the things that you may be wanting are probably going to be released fairly soon. I'm going to walk through an example of building a group looking for Notepad++. We'll uninstall it and then actually reinstall it. So I'm just going to create a brand new group. We'll do software, and I'm going to use our variable.
And these are the same variables that are in inventory, correct?
Correct. Yep. So we'll just name it this. And so you can see we only have one computer in this particular organization with Notepad++. I'm going to go ahead and actually uninstall it. And I'll use our package library package for the uninstall. So you can see this kicked off here. I'm actually going to move over to our deployments screen. So you can see it's now in progress, and we actually show the step details of where it's actually at. And literally within seconds, it's uninstalled. Like that's all live. In less than 30 seconds, we've completely uninstalled the software. We do have additional columns, so you can see it took us a grand total of 4 seconds to uninstall it. And we also keep track of who actually initiated that deployment.
I think it's important to point out that like that wasn't like smoke and mirrors. This is live product, right?
Yeah.
One of the things we wanted to make sure that we captured with PDQ Connect was that it would feel as live, if not more live and faster than deploying inventory. We didn't want to sacrifice speed as we're building the product.
Yeah.
So you kind of see that there.
One of the big trade-offs of moving to a cloud or agent-based platform is often speed, particularly with competitor solutions. My personal opinion with Connect is we haven't sacrificed speed at all. It should feel as fast as the on-prem version. So we're going to go ahead and actually reinstall Notepad++. I'm going to show you a custom package just so we kind of can demo what that looks like. So we'll just say Notepad++ custom. And then we're going to add our install step. So right now we're only supporting the install and PowerShell steps, but I want to kind of talk through our plans for custom packages. So we know that there are a lot of additional steps in deploy. There are also additional options such as running as a logged on user and things like that. Custom packages is actually our next big initiative for Connect. And so we really want to improve our custom packages so that you can package essentially anything that you want. So this will include additional step types like the ability to create nested packages or do file copy steps. It'll include the ability to run a step as the logged on user. We'll have an embedded PowerShell editor, so you're not just writing a script and then having to upload it. You can just write the code directly in our steps. So you should be seeing a lot of improvements to our custom packages pretty soon. One other call is we'll also improve the upload functionality for additional files. So like we know AutoCAD often has like hundreds of accompanying files. Right now, you'd have to do those individually, but we plan to just do a bulk upload option. So you can just upload one folder, it contains everything. I'm going to go ahead and attach our installer for Notepad++. If this were an MSI, it would actually pre-fill with our parameters, but since it's an EXE, and I hopefully remember this correctly, I'm just going to type this in. So I'll go ahead and save this.
Does he have it right, Jordan?
That is correct.
We're about to find out.
A little QA from Jordan.
Yeah.
It's as long as I didn't look if it was capital or lowercase. It needs to be a capital.
It was capital.
Okay, then
You got it.
And then we'll do Notepad++. And this is the custom one we just created. I'm going to go ahead and just put it back on Vecna. And we'll go ahead and deploy it. And so you should see this pop up in just a few seconds on this screen. While we're waiting for that, on this screen, there's a few things you can do. We could cancel it mid-flight if we needed to. Unfortunately, it moved so quickly that I didn't actually get a
4
chance.
seconds to do that.
Sometimes we're too fast for a demo, but that's great in actual production usage. But we can see we've already installed this software. So after a package runs, we do rescan the device. So we'll click into that in just a second. But from this page, you can also view the actual package. You can just click directly in there in case you're wondering what exactly was contained. Additionally, if it was an automated deployment, you can also just click into the automation and you'll see that there. But
And I can see the deployment on the device as well, right? I can drill down
Yep.
and see it that way too.
So
right?
now we're looking at an individual device. So this is all the scanned information that we're collecting out of the box. I know that one of the most requested features for Connect is custom scanners. So that's not available today, but it is planned. So you will have the ability to create your own custom scanners, and you'll be able to populate this with additional information that's specific to you and your organization. If we go ahead and dive into the software tab, we should be seeing Notepad++. This is one we just installed, and here's our actual install date. You can go ahead and look at that deployment history, and you can actually confirm that here was that deployment. We have additional tabs, kind of like your hardware tabs, covering like processor, disk drives, Windows features, things like that. So, and then lastly, I'm going to show you, that was a manual deployment, but this is kind of standard software. You typically don't want to have to manually deploy this all the time. So we do offer automation. Automation is the equivalent of schedules in deploy. So we have a couple here, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what it would look like for Notepad++. So we'll go ahead, and this one won't really matter, so I'll just use the package library one. If you're using the package library, we do support the latest version, which just means that whenever we update the version to a new latest, this also updates. You don't have to manually go and update this version at any point.
So can I ask a question right
Yep.
here? Because this was a little confusing to me, and I could just be me. But how come it says latest right here under version, but when you go make the group and the parameters, the variables right there don't say latest?
Because the variables are different from what's shown here. So this is just a version number, whereas that variable represents a specific version, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, so every time there's a new version, we on our side update the variable to match what's there. So it's just saying whatever the latest is, it doesn't matter. But then we update the variable what uses all the
with the
information.
actual one. And
Gotcha. Okay.
So right now we offer two triggers, recurring, which is kind of like your standard schedule trigger, and then also deploy once. Deploy once is basically, I just need to deploy this a single time in the future. I don't want to wait around. Like maybe you want to do a big upgrade over the weekend and it's a one-time upgrade. You can just schedule it so you're not having to log in on a Saturday. But we're just going to do a recurring. So we will start with today. What time is it? We'll just put it into the future. It's 11 a.m. Actually, let's do p.m. just so we can kind of talk about this. So right now, if I were to set this up at 11 p.m., what would happen is this would kick off that deployment at exactly 11 p.m. I know there's been a lot of concern of what happens if the device is offline at 11 p.m. Most people are not working that late at night. So I know in deploy, if a device is offline and you have a scheduled deployment, it can maybe end up in your retry queue, or sometimes the deployment fails. Connect is different. If that device is offline when this schedule runs, you don't have to worry about manually retrying it. You don't have to go check your retry queue. We just put it into a queued status, and the moment it actually comes back online, we'll kickstart that deployment. So we don't have a heartbeat style trigger yet, but we actually have a very similar functionality in terms of you just set it on your schedule, and the moment it comes online, it's going to go ahead and complete that deployment.
Whether or not you call it a heartbeat, it behaves just like the heartbeat.
It is functionally very, very similar to a heartbeat as it is right now. We'll just set this to run every 1 week. So now we know every Thursday. And again, if someone's not logged on at 11 p.m., no big deal, because it's just going to kick off the moment they log back on.
So that's actually something to be aware of, though, because you want to be careful with your time. You don't want it to run in the middle of the day then, right?
It depends on the package. Some packages are fine updating in the middle of the day. Some of them would actually like shut down the application. So yeah, if you're concerned about like interrupting your users, just put it to run at night. And again, if they're offline, it'll just start in the morning when they log back on.
And that would be the same for deploying inventory as well, right?
Yeah, they have a different method of handling it, but it's equivalent.
same idea.
Yep. And so we'll go ahead and save this. We're not going to make everyone have to wait until 11 p.m. to see this actually kick off, but tonight this will get installed to anything that's in our Notepad++ group. So. All right.
We can do the same thing with Windows updates, same exact process, right? If we want Windows updates and make them recurring, same thing.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Any package that you want to create custom or from our library, you can set up with an automation, and then you can just target at any sort of group that you want to create. You can also target individual devices if it's like a specific device you want to keep updated for some reason versus like a dynamic group.
Okay.
All right. I think that was it for me in terms of the demo.
Tracking the questions. You guys are about to get real busy.
More artificial pauses now.
What are you talking about? There are no questions. All right, are you ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Hey folks, I'd like to use Connect to patch apps on Windows 365 cloud-only PCs. Will this be supported? Admin rights might be an issue. Sincerely, Craig.
Are you saying proxied apps, 365 apps? Is that what the question means?
Well, if you're talking about permissions, I believe this runs as system, so the permissions should be fine. The installing the apps is where that's more as long as you have the proper custom file that you've built. I think we did a webcast on this 2 or 3 weeks ago about building the proper install file. But since the version we used there, or our example, was just the install step or PowerShell step, you can recreate that and run it remotely. Just if your licensing is for per user, you want to make sure that can Connect do for logged on user.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's something that is literally like our developers are actively working on it today.
Okay.
Like literally today.
So
it's coming soon.
For that one, if your licensing is per machine, it'll work today. If it is per user, you're going to have to wait for the per user install step to be in Connect.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think as long as they're able to run that MSI and get it installed on the cloud PC, they should be good to go.
Okay, next question. Is there edumacation pricing available, especially for higher edumacation? Mark B.
Yeah, Mark, I'll let me double click on pricing a little bit too. So we kind of started, as I showed on the screen, $12 per machine. And what we do, we actually have a little FAQ below it too, and we don't need to get into all the FAQs, but for education, for current, and I say active deploy and inventory subscribers, and we do have a discount. So that's a 10% discount, and that's also for nonprofit. In addition to that, something that's probably very relevant to education is that we also see a discount that's available for device count. So if you're over 500 devices, go ahead and send us a note. At the bottom of the page, you'll actually see where you can reach out to us, but it's sales-connect or connect-sales at pdq.com, and we'll be able to work on some volume discounts as well. So again, we do have it for education. We do have it for active DNI subscribers. We do have it for nonprofit organizations, as well as volume-based pricing.
If you think a discount applies to you, you'll need to reach out to our sales team right now. You can't self-apply that discount when you go to purchase the product. So you have to talk to us.
Hey, you guys, just a reminder, you got to put question in front of your question or Kelly's not going to see it. I see some
in the
questions that
chat,
don't have it there. So
All caps is preferred.
Can I hop in on a question I'm just looking at?
Yeah.
yeah, you already answered that one, huh?
Well, I'll respond. There are a couple related to heartbeat functionality and automation and what happens if an automated deployment occurs when the device is offline. So if it's offline, then we just queue it up, and then the moment it comes online, that deployment starts. So you don't have to keep track of it. You don't have to manually restart it, anything like that.
All right, let's keep going. For custom packages, will there be an option to remove uploaded content? Sincerely, High-Res 2.
So you can delete both the files that are attached to a custom package and the package itself, if I'm understanding that question correctly.
Okay. Next question. Hi, guys. This looks awesome. Is this hosted in the cloud? We were going to go to Intune, clunky POS, but this will just blow that out of the water. Thank you, 2008.
It is cloud hosted, and you're not the only one who thinks Intune is a clunky POS. One of the most common comparisons we've gotten with Connect in our feedback sessions is how fast and simple Connect is compared to Intune. We've heard terms like it feels refreshing, like a breath of fresh air, things like that. So particularly in comparison to Intune, I think there's a lot of benefit on the Connect side in terms of the speed and simplicity.
Well, it doesn't take 9 years to learn too.
Yep.
There's that. Right?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It feels like we're hitting the same wheelhouse with deploying inventory. It was always SCCM is clunky and but powerful. And it feels like we're running into a similar thing where Intune is clunky but powerful, but ours is just fast and works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question. Will there be an option to export a CVL file?
Is this like vulnerability scanning? We don't have any sort of built-in vulnerability scanning, if I'm understanding that correct, yet. That could be something that we look at in the future, but nothing right now.
So when we are adding, because you said we're working on custom scanning, when we have custom scanning, will they be able to export results?
Yeah, most likely.
If
we haven't
that's
gotten into the details.
If that's the
but
case,
yeah.
then that's in place. I would assume yes, but we don't know until it's in the product.
Hey guys, I did not get the predefined groups. Is there a way to import the groups? David N.
Yeah, so on the predefined groups, we just recently released that. We focused on new customers for a couple of reasons. One, we wanted to test hey, do people actually are they actually interested in this? Does it solve a problem? Things like that. The initial indicator that we've gotten is it actually is very helpful and useful. So we do plan to roll that out to existing customers soon, particularly with the ability to select your pre-built groups, not just have all of them loaded into your organization. So it's not available right now if you're not a new customer, but know that it is coming soon.
And our next question, are there going to be limitations on the storage for custom packages and an additional cost based on the amount of storage you need? Sincerely, VWs.
So I can at least talk to the limitation side. The main limitation is a file limit of 5 gigabytes per file, but you can have multiple large files in a single step, multiple steps in a single package. So our only limitation on storage right now is that individual file size.
And then right now I can kind of talk about the pricing. So I think this is one of those things that we've had a lot of internal conversations on. So I want to kind of set the expectations for the future. Right now you sign up, it is unlimited storage. However, we recognize that may not be the scalable approach for us internally. And so we'll look at probably doing some kind of bifurcation there where for 95%, 98% of users, it'd be within the normal package. And then for maybe some super power users, we'd be looking at a custom kind of pricing or custom package. But today we don't have that in existence. However, we would potentially do that in the future.
And we have a question from Luke B. Will there be an on-prem version? Our org does not allow cloud.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that question. We're definitely exploring that as a potential opportunity down the road, but that is not something that we're focused on right now. So that's not something that you would see at the very least this year.
Okay, GS importing deploy packages on the roadmap? Uppercase G.
Yeah, so importing deploy packages, it can get fairly complex. There's issues of parity between a Connect package and the deploy package, as well as how do we get your media, how do we translate the XML, stuff like that. It's something that we're aware of. We know that a lot of our customers have dozens, maybe even into the 100 plus custom packages, and it would be a pain to reinvent all of that in Connect. But I also can't promise that it's going to be something available in the next few weeks to months. So we're looking at it.
I think for the import, there's a lot of options and filters you can use within deploy that aren't there right now. Things like separating by operating system within the package that would make it difficult to import.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to mention this. We're getting a ton of questions. And so if we're not able to get to your question during the webcast, we are going to have an AMA on Reddit where you can post some additional questions and we'll get to them there. But we will plow through and try and get to as many of these as we possibly can. All right, next question. Are there plans to create a cloud-based software store you can advertise to your different department groups? That would be a game changer and cut down on admin requests for basic software installs. Jorlando D.
Like a self-service.
Yeah, so the way I'm interpreting this is the end user can just open a window on their thing and say I want
this app,
Zoom or something like that. It is on our roadmap. That's going to be further out, but it is on the roadmap.
Self-service portal was
We've seen creative ways on deploying inventory too.
And our next question is single sign-on on the roadmap.
We have SSO right now.
For users, right? Yeah. I'm guessing that's what they're talking
We also have two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication that's required. So to access the product, you have to set up multi-factor authentication.
And Jorge P. would like to know, when does licensing take effect for the orgs in the beta program?
Yeah, by licensing, I assume this means moving over to the paid version. So right now, continue to access through your same login that you had. It is a production environment, so you'll have all the features that you would have before. And then we'll have our account manager for your account in the next few weeks reach out to you to discuss kind of the options and needs of your business. So continue to use it today, full product.
Craig M. would like to say Connect is looking really good, but is still missing many features PDQ has. How fast should we expect to start seeing parity? I would struggle to justify paying for this as is.
Yeah, I think it depends on what exactly parity means to each person because not everyone uses every feature. What I can say is our engineering team, they move super fast. We have a very clear idea of what features are the most important ones. and we're continuing to release things almost daily. So you're gonna see a lot of improvement and a lot of additional functionality over the next few weeks and months.
It's impossible to give any specific terms, but I can say during the beta, twice I said, until we get this, it's not good enough in my opinion, and both of those things have been added within a couple weeks of things. So I think the most critical things are getting added regularly and fast. It's just the actual timeline is hard to gauge. Yeah.
I think that's one of the like big calls of when you move from beta to like a live production environment. And I think for us, it was really a tipping point that we saw. There were enough people said, hey, this is ready. This solves my needs. And so we're ready to launch and we're ready to kind of install this for our organization. Now, we recognize that some people have features in D&I that will be a long tail that we'll be chasing for a while.
All right, let's keep going. From Gabe, do you have a list of your public IPs and required protocols and ports for firewall rules?
I can go ahead and answer that. So there's a couple resources that we have on our help center, which you can reach at going to help.pdq.com and choosing Connect. There's a section about network and network requirements. So that'll have the IP ranges. And then we also have a whole security document that's on there as well that you can go and look at. And it'll kind of explain like how we use WebSockets and what ports we communicate over and things like that. And we'll put a link in the text chat here for that.
And we have a question from Chris L. What limitations on space will we have for custom installers?
It's just that single 5 gigabyte per file limitation. Otherwise, there aren't any right now.
And VW's question, is the intent to have Connect be the only cloud agent option for PDQ, or is there any discussion on adding cloud locations and an agent to the on-prem version of deploy and inventory?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that question. Right now, this is going to be our agent-based product. So if you have devices that are not on your local network or connecting through VPN, this is the product we recommend. We're always open to continue to improve deploy inventory in that way. We have a dedicated engineering team that is building deploying inventory and continue to work on that product. But that is not a focus for us right now.
So maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but with deployed inventory, our first attempt was to add the agent to our product, but the product was designed to be agentless, and it was not functionally hoped. So the reason we did this one is because the way our product works to be agentless made agent very difficult. So I'd be surprised if we ever saw an agent with the on-prem.
Yeah, we don't want to completely close that door, but we're not focused there right now based on some of those experiences that we had. And, we really want to make sure that Connect has as much feature parity as possible, and that's where we're focusing the most right now.
And our next question from Lucas. So PDQ Link was changed to Connect, or is it two separate products?
So Link is more of just like an install wizard to help set up your environment to let you have VPN access that deploy could reach across. But we gave that up as a supported product pretty quick because for most of our customers, it was missing the mark pretty hard. So I think Links, if you had it set up, it still works, but mostly it was just, it was a wizard for setting up your environment to work, but it's not a supported product where PDQ Connect is completely supported.
So absolutely a separate product. Absolutely.
Okay, let me see if I can get this one right. And I apologize. Questions come in so fast, I may not be able to get your name in these at this point. Does it have to get last location remote node connected to internet and featured to initiate LockNag on laptop to force them to connect to the internet after X amount of days of not connecting?
That might be the densest question
I don't even understand the
on this
question.
webcast. Yeah, I'm not fully following it, but
Jordan?
I'm not sure about what it takes for LockNag to weigh in on that. I apologize.
Throw that on Reddit, and we'll see if we can
see if Josh
bring a whole
knows.
group
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, just a reminder, we do have an AMA on Reddit. I do believe right after the show. Is that the plan still?
correct.
Okay, great. Next question. For automations, will Heartbeat be available for schedules?
yes, we do have a plan for a Heartbeat style trigger, but I think a lot of what people are looking for in Heartbeat, which is specifically start a deployment when that device comes online, it's actually already there with our current triggers.
Next question. I use the file copy feature of Deploy to copy often used shortcuts to a user's desktop. Is there a way to do file copy operations like that with Connect?
So we do plan to add a explicit file copy step to Connect. And like I said, custom packages, improving those is the current focus for our team. You could probably do that today with PowerShell and just attaching that file as an additional attachment and then just writing a script. But we do plan an explicit file copy step to be added.
Will Connect be available for sale via reseller/distributor?
Yes, absolutely. Like today, we'll make sure that happens. I mean, again, with kind of the quieter launch, this is to make sure that we understand the operations really on the sales and kind of order processing side. So if you were required to go through a distributor or reseller, we'll support that for sure. The best way to really engage is the connect-sales@pdq.com so we can have that conversation. But we recognize that a lot of our customers have that as a required step for procurement, so we're able to support that today.
All right, just queuing up the next question here. Mac version 2 or Windows only for now?
Yeah, so right now we're focused on Windows. That's going to be the main focus for Connect for quite some time. As a reminder, we do have Simple MDM, which is our Apple MDM product.
And our next question, is this going to be client GUID-based? I.e., if we rename a PC and reboot it, will there be any conflicts? On-prem runs into trust issues.
I don't think so. So like I know that we have users currently who already rename their devices, and we just collect it on the next scan. So we're not like looking for a specific name on your network. We're just relying on that agent connection.
And our next question, can I create a single package that contains multiple PDQ packages that we can run on demand like we can in deploy?
Right now, no, but nested packages is in that scope of improving custom packages, which is the current focus.
Are you planning to add MFA to sign in? I think we already hit that one, which we can.
It's already there.
Okay. Will PDQ Connect replace inventory and deploy in the future?
No, there's no plans to replace deploy and inventory. We think deploy and inventory are great products. They serve a really important need. We have a dedicated engineering team and product team for that product. So we're invested there.
Will we use the Wake on LAN feature almost daily, or we use the Wake on LAN feature almost daily using inventory? Would that ever be possible with Connect?
Yeah, that feature is pretty reliant on a local network, which is not guaranteed for a remote environment. So we don't have specific plans for that functionality, but I guess I can't fully rule it out. We haven't investigated it too deeply, but that's a pretty local network feature.
It might be possible. I know we use something called Magic Packet, which is kind of a complex packet you send out that does the wake up, which I believe we had a blog out there on how to create your own. And if you can't create it, you could use PowerShell to send it, but that's all theoretical. I can't, that's just off the top of my head of maybe.
Okay, let's hit this one. When will we see remote control available? This is critical for help desk support for end users.
I love these questions. I'm sure you guys don't. But I love them.
No, these are great questions. This is something that we are actively investigating. If you have any favorite products out there for remote control, we would love to hear about them. So if you'd reach out to us at product@pdq.com, we'd love to know what you're using there and how we might be able to integrate those together. But right now, there isn't any plan there. That's like a firm plan, I should say.
I love GoToAssist, Mark. There you go. There's one.
Thank you.
You're
Make sure you email it to me.
There you go. Our next question. I must have missed this, but notifications and reports, inventory reporting, email reports, emails on jobs completing, failing, delaying, etc.
Yes, the reporting is on the roadmap. It's not available today, but we do plan to include reporting, which would also include like some sort of automated notifications related to reporting.
What kind of performance impact does the agent have on client machines, as in average CPU RAM utilization?
As far as we can tell, pretty much none.
In my current experience for testing, it has been a very light touch.
And that's one of the explicit goals too. With the creation of the
We
agent.
intentionally want our agent to be as lightweight as possible.
Will there be a feature to build a custom nested packages to deploy?
Yep, we are planning that.
Highly requested.
Yeah.
Yes. Will there be a phone app we can have for it?
We haven't discussed any specific plans on a phone app. My guess is our first approach would be just optimizing the current web experience for mobile. But yeah, that's not something we're currently discussing. I guess I can't fully rule it out.
Can you do all this by next week?
And I think this is probably the final question that we'll get to on the webcast. Now, do remember there is an AMA on Reddit right after the webcast. I know there's a ton of questions about Connect, so please, we want to be able to answer them all. Throw them over there into that AMA, and we will get to them. But the final question here, will there be, oops, I already hit that one. Will you provide packages for Windows feature releases?
So for a lot of Windows updates, we already have those in the package library and deploy, so they are in Connect. They're missing some of the options and filters like operating system. So if you're using those, you want to be careful to make sure you're targeting the right system or it will error out.
Yeah.
As far as if you're talking about like the massive feature upgrades,
Yeah.
where it's an agent, I imagine it would be possible to custom build it, but I haven't tested it yet. But the main issue, the reason I didn't work with deploy was because it was agentless. We would lose connection for long enough. Where this one is an agent,
Can do it.
I imagine it's possible, but I haven't had a chance to mess with that yet.
Yeah, and if possible, I wanted to address one more question that I'm seeing related
Please.
to the API.
Yeah.
I know that's a pretty commonly requested thing as well, particularly given that it's a SaaS app. So we do have plans for a public API. We are intentionally not releasing an API right now, specifically because we're actually like actively changing things. And so we don't want to release an API that's constantly going to change for our customers and then force them to change their integration. So we're being intentional and smart about how and when we release the API, but it is planned.
Okay. I think that's all we can hit today. There is a link for the AMA in the chat. So for the remainder of your questions, please go there. We're going to be there as long as it takes, really, to answer the questions that you have. Jordan.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Hopefully you learned a lot. The product as it is today is extremely useful, but the additions we're adding, which has been coming fast, is making it just an amazing product. I absolutely love it. Hopefully you guys dive in and give it a test. For PDQ, I'm Jordan.
I'm Tara.
There, everybody else. And thank you so much for joining today. We appreciate all of your questions. Please remember, we do have the AMA that will continue to go on Reddit to get your questions answered. Thanks again for joining us. Please like and subscribe and leave us your comments if you wouldn't mind. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next time.